Okay, welcome everybody. So this is the 35th week of the year. We're getting very close to the end of the year. It's been an amazing, an amazing season so far. And tonight for the market analysis, as we always do, we're going to be starting with the currency indices, all right? Because they show us the overall strength or weakness to expect from a particular commodity, and what they show us can then be interpreted and then juxtaposed with whatever it is that we're seeing as analysis on other commodities. All right. So let me see. I just want to quickly adjust this. Okay, good. So we're going to be starting as usual with AXY, which is the Australian dollar index. It tells us the strength or weakness to expect from the Australian dollar. And I recall that since April, this was, no, that was March, since 28th of March, all right, we talked about the fact that the Australian dollar was supposed to drop this much, all right, drop this far, all right, and then bounce back to the top here. I think what we're seeing right now is that actual drop. So I would want to wait to see that drop get completed first before I begin to, anticipate a bullish impulse or a bullish momentum on AXY or on the Australian dollar. So for me, I think we should still see the Australian dollar drop a bit more, all right, probably for one more week, all right, before we can see some solid strength. The next one we'll look at is the BXY, which is the pound index. All right, pound index, and I think I recall we talked about the last time that pound was going to drop this much and then return back to the top. However, we've seen pound get into this zone and still somehow manage to form this lower low right around here. And for me, I think what I'm expecting from here is that from this point we should see the pound bounce back a whole lot stronger. All right, so we're expecting some bullish momentum on pounds. All right, on the pound currency. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to just get my pen and paper so I can document this. All right, so that's for pound. All right, on the pound, we're expecting some bullish momentum. Up next, we're going to go to the Canadian dollar index, all right, which is another very interesting index that I love to, to review right before I start my analysis. So CXY. CXY has reacted exactly how we expected it to. I think this was way back second week of August. All right. Yeah, and we talked about the fact that the Australian dollar was going to drop all the way down here. We've seen that drop. However, right about now, we can see that the bullish reaction is expected to start sometime this week. All right, we should see this bullish reaction from this zone, all right, back to the top. All right, so what that simply means is we're expecting the Canadian dollar to get stronger. All right, the Australian dollar, we're expecting about 1 week weakness. All right, probably a few days, okay, of weakness from the Australian dollar. Pound, we're expecting some bullish momentum or impulse. All right, and this right here is the Canadian dollar, and we're expecting some strength from the Canadian dollar. All right, next one, we're going to look at the US dollar, DXY. And as you can see, DXY played out perfectly according to our analysis. This was since July. We talked about the fact that it was going to drop here, come here, drop a bit further, and then bounce here, all right, before we get to see that original drop, which means that our bearish bias for the dollar is still supposed to be intact, or is still going to remain intact until we have a break above this area. All right, until we see a break above this zone right here. Okay, until we see something along that side, we we still remain bearish on the dollar. All right, so DXY. Next, we go to EXY, which is the Euro index. All right, the index for the European, the Euro, sorry, the Euro currency. And I must admit that last week I expected, Euro to come into this zone, all right, drop a little bit and then continue higher, all right. But as you can see, the drop ended up going way, way, way farther than what I expected, all right, which is quite crazy, but still acceptable. So what do we expect from here for Euro? The answer is pretty simple. I believe that any one of my students should be able to see the zone that we'll be looking at for the reaction at the moment. All right, but just for clarity's sake, and because I'm sure not everybody watching this right now or attending this or attending to this right now has gone through or completed the training course. So let's quickly mark out that zone. So that right there is the zone we're looking at. So we're able to see price, do this, all right, that would be fantastic. So we're expecting to see this kind of reaction from Euro, which means a very short-term sell, all right, for a much longer term buy. All right, so the next one we want to look at is the Jpy basket, which is also one of my favorite indices. All right, as you can see, JPY has not yet got into the zone I expected to get to. Last week we talked about the fact that JPY is supposed to come into somewhere around this level, all right, which is why we have not yet seen that very sharp, crazy sell on USDJPY at the moment. But I can tell you that, JPY is still cooking up that move. This is like a liquidity grab happening right here, all right. We've seen the break of structure very clearly. So we're simply waiting for price to, retest this other block zone, all right, and then we can be on our way all the way back to the top. Let's see this. All right, beautiful. So this is where we are looking at. This is our first. This is our area of interest. All right, our POI is on this line. So let's see what price does there. If price doesn't react from there, then definitely around this 882 level. All right, we should see that reaction that we've been waiting for. All right, we should see that reaction we've been waiting for. So what does that mean for the JPY? It means that we might see a slight short-term bearish, all right, and then maybe a longer-term bullish, all right, on the JPY basket. So I haven't had this, all right, I haven't looked through this. Let's quickly look at what the charts are saying, all right, and this is the point where you can begin to, drop your suggestions, any commodity that you would like us to review together as the big happy family that we are. Just drop it in the Telegram group, and I'll definitely be getting to it tonight. All right, keep it coming. Keep it coming. EUGU. All right, let's start with EURUSD GBPUSD. So EURUSD gave a very funky move around here. Didn't end up giving me my 1:3, but I was also wary of this other block, which all thanks to God, I was able to escape narrowly, all right, before something crazy happened. All right, and then we saw this huge drop, which was nonetheless was anticipated. But at the moment, as you can see, EU is currently at a very interesting area. All right. I think that's it for me. So currently, I'm expecting a bounce from EURUSD from that zone. All right, and remember, like I've said a couple of times, all right, when you expect reactions from zones like this, all right, and you don't want to set pending orders and just jump into the trade. One of the ways to approach that is to go to the lower time frames, use your moving average for entry. What that means is that you're basically waiting to see price breakouts like this, break above this previous high, all right, break above that, and then if the moving averages have crossed at the point where the retest is coming, that would have given you a bigger confirmation, all right, and then you can maybe trade all the way to somewhere around here, or maybe even bigger. All right, let's see that on the 4 hours. Okay, let me do 15 minutes. Good. So all right, so on the 4 hours, this is what we're looking at. As you can see, this is also a very solid order block zone. All right, a very solid supply zone. So I'll keep my eyes peeled for whatever happens around there. All right, so that's EURUSD for you. That's EURUSD for you. We're expecting something around 120, 123 pips. All right, so let's see how that plays out. Because we now have a signals, a signal provider, on the team, I don't think it would make sense for me to still give us entries and exits and things like that. All right. So during the course of the week, stay glued to the group. All right. The signal provider would definitely notify you when entries arrive. Just update you on whatever the progress of our trade setups are looking like. All right. So the next one, GBP USD. Yeah, so this was the one that actually broke my heart. GBP USD, after giving me some really interesting entries, GBP USD decided to play a prank on me. I would have left this trade. No, come on. This particular trade, I would have left it and probably, got myself 1:10. But, I saw that pivot zone. I was like, let's get out. It's 1:3 already. And then I shot myself in the foot. The next one I entered didn't go so well. But nonetheless, it's all good news. Let's see the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we can all agree that this is an interesting zone. All right. So apparently what we want to do at this point or at this junction is, maybe come to 15 minutes, 5 minutes, have your moving averages. What you're waiting for is the move that breaks the moving averages, breaks above the high here, all right? The moving averages cross, price comes back into that zone, and then voila. You can basically expect price to maybe come back as far as this point, or maybe at least this point, all right, which would mean that we're talking about something around 150 pips, all right. So this is also one of the things that we'll be looking out for this week, all right. So possible 150 pips move, and I don't think you guys should miss it, all right. I believe we all saw the review from the trade setups that we dropped. All right, the trade setups played out perfectly, amazingly well. Okay, I think they dropped the total number of pips earlier. I think it was a total of 2,614 pips. All right, so stay glued to the charts, follow whatever signal they give during the week. All right, the team members are going to provide you with heads up as to how all of that plays out. All right, so that's GBP USD. All right, why did I think JPY was going to react at that POI? Okay, Jpy Basket. That's an interesting question. But I need to know which order block are you talking about? Is it this one? Is it this point you're talking about? Is that it? Okay. Just type in the chat group. Just type in the chat box whether it's a yes or no. Let me know if it's this area you're talking about. Okay. This one. There are two pink areas above. So I just need to know which one you're talking about. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to be very clear about this so that there are no confusions or misconceptions. Okay, so while I wait for that, the ones beside the current market price. Oh, you mean this one? Why do I think price is going to react from there since there's no other block there? Are you sure there's no other block there? Are you really sure there's no other block there? Because this is what is on the 4 hours time frame. So can you see that there's another block there now? Look closely. What do you see here? But nonetheless, if that's what works for you, fine. All right, so let's go on. What other commodities should we look at? I think let's take a look at gold. Good. All right, gold has been playing pranks on me. I've been able to skim off a few peeps, but I think this is the zone that I'm actually watching at the moment. I didn't get the reaction I needed to see here. Price got to this zone. There was no real break on the lower time frame, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. There was no quality break and retest of, there's no quality break and retest. What do I mean by quality break and retest? What do I mean by quality break and retest? Let me show you. You see that at the point where this happened, all right, at the point where, what date was this? Yeah, Friday. At the point where this happened, you see that what we got was just a few pips move, all right, and then price broke all the way down. And the breakout itself was not so solid, all right? But nonetheless, like I said, what I would be waiting for right now would be this, and then something along that line, okay? So keep your eyes peeled. Gold should be dripping some amazing moves. Maybe not too much, all right? Maybe not too much because these are areas worth watching as well. All right, this one definitely carries a higher weight. All right, it's more. It should be considered more powerful. All right, or more of a priority. But nonetheless, depending on how long it takes price to get to this initial point of interest. All right, but I think if we get a good reaction from here, we should be talking about 2,000 pips, thereabouts. All right. Should be talking about 2,000 pips. So that's on gold. All right. What other commodities should we take a look at? I think EURCAD should be another good one. Yeah, EURCAD. EURCAD, we had this 1:5.6 on Friday. Yes. Not Friday, it was before Friday, but it closed on Friday. So currently, AUD, I think this zone on EURCAD is an amazing, amazing one. All right. Why did I say that? We can see just right before that zone, we can see this very clear liquidity grab. All right. So what does that mean? That means that we're expecting some bullish reaction from this area. All right. So what do? I simply, as always, come back to the 15 minutes. You can also still use the old smart money concepts to, get in on the lower time frames. But, for me, I just pretty much use whatever works for me. All right. Pretty much something like that. So, which would mean that we're looking at about 80 pips. All right. At least 80 pips on EURCAD. All right. At least 80 pips on EURCAD. Yep. I think so. But I'll be watching this particular price area. All right. Something could happen around that side or around that zone. Let's quickly go to the next one. CAD JPY. If you have a commodity you want me to take a look at, please kindly drop it in the group, or right on the chat box. Let me know what you're looking at. CAD JPY completed 1:7 last week. All right. And currently, I think this is the block to watch. Price has gotten there. We are currently seeing a reaction. Remember, I said on Jpy Basket, we should see a temporary or a short-term weakness before, the stronger, the stronger setup plays out. All right. So EURCAD, if I get something like this, I think that would be very fine with me. All right. EURCAD, by the way. Sorry, CAD JPY. I've forgotten. This is CAD JPY right now. So at least CAD JPY will get this break, or probably as as I like to be prepared for whatever the outcomes could possibly be. All right, we might just get something all the way down here. All right, all the way. As you can see, this is a setup that I already marked out on the daily time frame. I'm just waiting for it to get right. I have this first entry, or that first zone, all right, and then this second zone. So whichever one plays out first. To further confirm that, you see that we already have that's this solid liquidity grab area here. All right, so if it plays out fully, I think that would mean we should be expecting about 350 pips. All right, 350 pips on CAD JPY. All right, if this plays out completely. But in the meantime, this is the 4 hours time frame. Like I said, you want to go to the lower time frame, find that setup, find your entry rather. All right, go to the lower time frame, find your entry, and then take your shot. Okay, and I've shown you what that what that entry should look like, what I expect that entry to look like. Okay, so whichever way it works for you, that is what our expectation is. Remember, JPY, our submission is that it will be weak temporarily, all right, for a few hours or days, all right, and thereafter we're expecting some big push. All right, so that's CAD JPY. What other commodity will you guys like me to take a look at? Yeah, I think EURJPY did us quite well. We didn't get an entry, a second entry for this sell, but I think the buy is progressing quite well. Nonetheless, I think it's important to also realize that this area could still be potent, all right? This area could still be potent. And what I mean by that is we could see prices play along that line, all right? And the reason why is simple. Right now we can see that the trend has most likely changed on EURJPY. We're now in a downtrend. That would be the completion of a QML pattern. We can see that there's this sweet imbalance waiting to be filled over here. There are a lot of liquidity areas down there. Right, a lot of liquidity areas down here. Okay, so that just makes it all the more interesting. So we can just watch out to see how this plays out. Okay, personally, I think the first point of call would be about half of this week. All right, let's see how price reacts when it gets to half of this week, and then from there we can start to make our conclusion. So if this setup plays out, it means that we're expecting about about 400 pips on EURJPY. All right, about 400 pips on EURJPY, which is also a very interesting one. All right, someone is asking for USDJPY. So for me, this is USDJPY. As you can see, it's already inside that zone that I marked. I think I marked that zone, several days or weeks ago. So we've seen this imbalance get filled, all right. And right about now, I think the worst case scenario in this situation would be that price comes this far. All right, that would be the worst case scenario. Reason being that there's this solid order block here. Momentum is obviously getting weaker, all right, coupled with the fact that the Japanese yen is getting stronger. USDJPY, I think I had two failed entries, all right. Not because the entries were poor in themselves, okay. It was just the fact that I was expecting, the dollar to drop crazily last week, and it didn't give me that, all right. But nonetheless, I think we should still be expecting this drop, all right. It should happen this week. And, whenever the market takes time before it begins to play out like this, all right, it's all the more reason to believe that that move is going to be strong, all right. The more market tries to stall before making that move, the more reason you should believe in the strength of that trend once it starts, all right. So let's see how this plays out. But I think I'm expecting, the dollar to drop against the Japanese yen, all right, so that we can have that sweet move. For those of you who might want to check this out, all right, your 4 hours time frame, mark out your other blocks, and then you'll see exactly what it is that I am seeing. If this plays out, we're looking at a clean, this could be merged. This is about 1,100 pips if that plays out completely. All right, if it plays out completely, we're looking at 1,100 pips. I believe that this is clear. So during the week, the signal providers would definitely update us on the progress of all of these setups, all right? But we're just doing this so that peradventure, you are able to spot opportunities that the signal providers did not spot or were unable to spot. You can still be on the safe side, all right? US oil, that's another request from somebody. Basically, I just think that whenever US dollar is strong, stock indices drop. Whenever dollar is weak, stock indices increase, all right? We talked about US oil dropping into this zone. It has dropped, all right. It didn't bounce as we expected, but I believe that the bounce is ready to take off now. All right, so US oil, I think you can just simply go to the 15 minutes. Go to the 15 minutes and then pick an entry. All right, so either of these setups that play out, but I think that one of those blocks would be the points to enter from, would be a reasonable point to enter from. All right, so we just take the trade from that zone and then watch how this all plays out. All right, so US oil, I think my bias is bullish. All right, and that's what I will be looking out for. I don't trade these indices, but nonetheless, that's the bias from a technical point of view. What other commodity? Please drop the commodity you would like us to review. Just drop it in the group, all right, or in the chat, and we'll get to it right here, right now. All right, what commodity do you have in mind? Let me see. Yeah, this was a setup that really pained me to the bones. All right, it was a setup I was waiting for since as far back as about 2 weeks ago. All right, price got to my entry zone and I was not, I was not on seat. So that was really crazy. But I think that it's just for as long as it takes to bring prices back here. All right. Which is why we're seeing that break of structure, the liquidity grab. All right. Break. Okay, so basically, this happens to, give us the liquidity grab. We can probably see price, maybe bounce, retest this zone, okay, and then drop a bit further down this way. All right, give us this entry, and then we can, prices can spring all the way back here. Reason being that we also have this equal highs just sitting over here, all right. These equal highs sitting over here, where this imbalance just happens to occur, all right. Imbalance, liquidity grab, price gets back here, all right. So that tells us that price has every reason to come back to this area, all right, or this zone, okay, and then we can tap into that reason. Yeah, and that will be about 320, 330 pips, all right, from entry. So Euro AUD, we're watching out for, buy opportunities, okay, from this zone area, all right, and then we'll just see what that looks like. All right, let's see EUROCAD. Yeah, EUROCAD gave me a heart attack on Friday. Yeah, on Friday. Did a 1:1 and then suddenly started dropping. Not so bad though, because I actually have a zone that I'm watching down here as well. So hopefully price gets there and gives me the reaction that I need to see. All right, once price gives me that reaction, I think at that point it will be safe to conclude that we are bullish. All right, yeah, and we might want to be coming this far. All right, this other block has already been tested. Okay, so maybe, just maybe, let's be generous a bit. All right, so that's my expectation on EURCAD. All right, let's see. Like I've said and repeated several times, the signal providers will definitely give us these setups once they arrive. All right, just to put us through and help us know when to take these trades. All right, so that's EURCAD. What other commodities should we look at, guys? What other commodities should we look at? I think US30 is still holding our bias. Yeah, US30 is still holding our bias. Hasn't gotten to my exit yet. I expect it to at least maybe come this low, or come that way, maybe before we get. But nonetheless, this was a setup since as far back as June. All right, yeah, our first entry was on 22nd of June. So let's just see how it plays out. This is the other blog I'm watching out for. All right, it would be the completion of the QML, the feeling of this imbalance. All right, you know, the liquidity obviously got taken already, so that makes it a more secure trade for us. All right, so I think one trade to look at would be BTC USD. All right, so consider this a giveaway. We have all this imbalances here, all right, all over here, okay, and we're just going to see how this whole thing plays out. All right, just going to see how this whole thing plays out. But I'm believing that this is a bullish schematic. All right, this is good reason for a bullish sentiment. We've broken out, we've come back for a retest, and I think we should be breaking all the way back to at least here. All right, or if luck smiles on us, all the way to 30,000 thereabouts. All right, on BTC USD. ETH USD has not been so nice. It tapped a little bit out of my zone, but I think the reaction should still, you know, mimic what we have on BTC USD. A worst case scenario, price comes back into this zone, right, before we get that that momentum. All right, all of which would be pretty good, pretty solid for us. All right, we might just maybe like this. All right, probably something like that. Good. So this is ETH USD or ETH USDT. So let's see how all of this plays out in the next let's see how it plays out in the next couple of hours or days or whatever it is. All right, so it seems like nobody's really interested in asking for setups tonight. So we're just going to wrap up here. The signals providers would definitely take care of us during the week. All right, so you can just keep your feet up and relax all through the week. I'm sorry, as you can notice from my voice, this is not the best that my voice has been. All right, I'm currently really just in need of rest, but nonetheless, I just couldn't miss out on the opportunity to, you know, get to hang out with you guys once again tonight. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody for your time. Thank you for joining us. The Smart Money Bootcamp, a lot of you reached out to me. You would like to join for the coming month for September. We're only going to open registrations for 1 week. After that, I think I really need to, you know, take more time to relax. All right. So we're going to be doing one more batch. All right. Just one more batch for the Smart Money Bootcamp. After that, we're wrapping it up for the year. All right. Just 10 people, $100. That's it. All right. So if you're interested, you can reach out to any of the admins on the group. All right. Let them know that you're interested in joining the bootcamp, and they would just put you through the entire process. All right. So I want to say a big thank you to everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. This week, we're going to be launching one of our products for tests. All right. It's an expert advisor. It's a robot, a trading robot. We're going to be launching it for you guys to just test for 1 week. So if you have a VPS or something, you can test it out for 1 week, see how it works. All right. Give us your feedback, your candid feedback. And then from there, we'll just take the next step. All right. If enough of you love it and you feel like, yeah, it's worth putting money on, then we'll work towards that. If some of you feel like, oh, no, it still needs to be worked on a little bit more, then we'll definitely pay attention and, and look into that. All right. So it's been a lovely, amazing night with you guys. I want to say thank you. And God bless you. If this is the first time you are joining us in a live stream like this, please signify in the Telegram group. I think I have a gift for you. Thank you so much, everybody. God bless you and have a fantastic rest of the week. God bless. Bye-bye.